Alrighty, hello. Let's see, we got me as a participant. Alrighty. Hi, guys. Is anyone by chance over on the other side? The previous thumbnail, like the whole streaming for the 7 p.m., it got deleted, so I had to make a new one. So if you are in here by chance, say hi. In the chat. In the previous class, it wasn't calculating the participants. It said that nobody was included in the other one, and so I just wanted to make sure that the numbers are accurate. Oh, hello, Maria. Okay, cool. Yay. Hello. Thanks so much for tuning on in, and I'm really glad that we can have a class. Woo. Alrighty. Let me go ahead. Maria, if you don't already. Oh, and Andrew. Hello. Hi, everybody. Now everybody is out popping in. If you were waiting on the previous class, I'm really sorry. It ran for like 10 minutes and it was being weird saying like who what wasn't in the video. But I'm glad that you're in here now. So if you don't already, this is going to be a level 2 Hatha class, meaning that it's going to be, you're going to see some challenges. So if you don't already, I would go ahead and grab a block or some sort of makeshift block, like either like a thick can of soup, or if you have thick books, or maybe you have an instrument and it has a hard case, you can use that as a block. It's really anything that will help and keep you propped up. And some of our asanas today, I would recommend grabbing a strap too, and you can really use anything as a strap. What I brought with me today is I have been using a tie as a strap. So if you got one of those, go ahead and grab that. And I'll give you a minute or two to prop up. So a block, if you have two, that's awesome. But if you don't have a block or anything to help keep you lifted, maybe it'll be a good idea if you have some wall space today, so that you can use the wall space to stay balanced here. Or if you have a chair, you can use a seat of a chair to kind of use as a block too. So just a couple ideas. But welcome to 7 p.m. class with me. Again, my name is Julia, for those who may or may not have taken my class before. And for today's class, what we are going to be doing is a series of twists and doing some revolved asanas. So if you're not sure what revolve means in yoga, revolve, it's basically a deeper twist in the opposing direction. So the Sanskrit word for it is parivrita, and more joiners, awesome. And to give you an example of what a revolved asana would look like, which these are the ones that we will practice tonight, so you can technically count them as your peak poses. One of them is a Parivrita Trikonasana, which is revolved triangle. And if you took my morning class, you may see this again. But in a traditional Trikonasana, we find ourselves at a very minimal spinal twist. It's very minimal because it's more of a chest opening and a little rotation away from our hips. But when we do a revolved Trikonasana, we go the opposite direction here so that we can get deeper into the twist, as well as getting deeper into the hips, building strength and length in that sense. So I am in a reverse triangle, at least from the upper half. And this asana is going to be one of our peak poses, as well as we are going to work with a revolved half moon or Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. So half moon, traditionally, you will see yourselves possibly with a block in front. I'm using my left leg in front of your left leg while the right leg opens up. So we have opening up through the hips, and we have opening up through the chest, Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. And the way that we revolve it is that we go ahead and take the opposite hand down and bring in the opposite arm up so that we find more of a twist into our spine in the Ardha Chandrasana. So those are going to be the challenges that we are going to explore today. So it's important that we have some sort of either blocks, bottom of a chair, so that we can use that instead as a block if you don't have any yourself, as in the seat of a chair, or possibly finding your mat near a wall so that you can find some support and balance in some of our asanas, as well as a strap if you have a strap or tie or belt. So then, now that we have our props, you can go ahead and find yourself at a comfortable seated position, having your tailbone minimally tucked, chest is lifted. Taking a deep inhale, bring your shoulders all the way up towards your ears. And then as we exhale, we're going to rotate the shoulders back, exhaling through the mouth. Closing your eyes and taking deep inhalations in through the nose and out through the nose. Yep. So then as we sit here, just really thinking about how important that in not only in today's practice, but with our practices throughout each and every day, how we examine our physical strength during this time that we have to stay inside. And for that acknowledging your physical strength is more important as you travel throughout your spiritual sense in life as well. That becoming aware of your physical strengths and weaknesses enables you to become more in tune with your core energy and your spiritual nature. That it makes you become more disciplined and focused. And as you become physically stronger and more flexible and better toned throughout your exercise, you also notice that you are emotionally different. Where you once may have been short-tempered and maybe stuck in your ways, you become more flexible and less rigid. And this makes you more of a stronger person overall. And then once you are aware that this physical strength and emotional strength go hand in hand, you can take a positive action to make changes that will spur even more positive growth. And just knowing as we go up through today's practice that strength, both inner and outer, will change your perception of yourself and your overall world. And we can examine some of this physical strength as we go through our class today, going through a series of twists and exploring more depth in those twists as we find ourselves revolved in our asanas. So let's be revolved and involved with our physical stamina to start. As you start to increase the movement in your body, you can take your palms out to the center here, out to the sides. And as your palms are facing up, you can take a deep inhale, bringing your palms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release. Anjali Mudra in front of your chest. And you're welcome to take a bow here and to set an intention for your practice today. Whatever guided you to come onto this mat, and allow it to guide you throughout your practice. And you can go ahead and take an inhale, bringing your palms out to the T, palms up, inhale, rise, bringing your hands up towards the ceiling, flipping the palms down, and exhale, release, hands to the ground. Flipping the palms up, inhale, rise towards the ceiling. Flipping the palms down, exhale, release back to the ground. And go ahead and do this 2 more times at your own breath, your own pace. Really allowing yourself to explore the full depth of your wingspan here. Good. And on the next breath, we're going to inhale, rise, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling, tucking the tailbone, and then lifting up through the chest here. And then we're going to pat ourselves on the back with our left hand. Our elbow is risen. We're going to take our right hand, place it onto the left elbow, and inhale, guide the left elbow towards the back of the room as your chest is lifted here, but not too high where we're arching into the lower spine. We want to keep it as neutral as we can so that we can create more movement into our arm. So as we're taking a couple breaths here, inhale, finding more length into the spine, and exhale, maybe guiding the left arm a little bit more towards the back of the room. Stay in this asana and take one final breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And as we inhale, we're going to rise through our crown and through our chest. And inhale, start to laterally stretch over towards the right side, rooting the left knee and the left hip to the ground. Taking 3 more breaths. And then inhale, rise back in towards the center, bringing both arms towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, release, bring the arms up to the T. Do a couple shoulder rolls here. Good. And reversing the rotation of your shoulder rolls. And then taking your arms, inhaling back up towards the ceiling. We're going to go ahead and pat yourself on the back with your right hand and taking the left hand onto your right elbow. Finding that minimal tailbone tuck and guiding that right hand towards the back of the room. Taking 5 breaths. And it's important that we warm up through the arms and through the side bodies as we explore these twists because they are responsible for helping us in getting even deeper into the asanas, as well as opening up through the chest. Good. And after your 5th breath, you can take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then inhale, lengthen up through the crown and start to bend over towards the left side as we root through the right knee and the right hip. And making sure that we still find this slit throughout our chest. 2 more breaths. And inhale, rise, coming back up towards the center, arms up towards the ceiling. Good, and then coming into cactus arms. We have these cactus arms. We're going to inhale, bring our chest forward and our elbows back. And then exhale, meet our forearms into the center, chin to chest. And we can go ahead and come back up into these cactus arms. And in these cactus arms, we're going to go ahead, engage the core, and release our legs and bring them forward into staff pose. Keeping our arms open, our feet are flexed, toes to the ground, keeping the tailbone tucked, chest is lifted, creating that fire and that energy into the core. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring our arms out to the T and inhale, twist our belly and rib cage and chest to the right side, keeping our arms open. Good. Inhale, rise up towards the ceiling, into center. Exhale, release into the T arms, and inhale, start to twist on over to the left side. Good. And then inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hip hinge forward here, grabbing onto your toes or onto your shins. Or if you would like, you can grab a strap here and place the strap around the ankle bones as we hip hinge forward, engaging the quads and lifting up through the kneecaps so that we can guide through our chest and through our head to get a better hip hinge. This decreases the roundness in our spine here. Good. And then take it 2 more breaths. Inhale, finding length throughout the spine, and then exhale, creating a hinge into the hips. Good. On the next inhale, rise back up into staff pose, but keeping hold onto the straps. Placing the left hand onto the strap as close as you can to your foot, keeping your chest lifted. We're going to bring your right arm forward, and then inhale, open up, twist to the right side. 3 breaths. Good. And then exhale, release. Bringing the right hand to where the left hand is, and inhale, open up the left arm to the left side. 3 breaths. Good. Then exhale, release, and back into the holding the straps. On your next breath, inhale, lift up through the chest halfway. Exhale, hip hinge forward into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Good. Take it 3 more breaths here, still hugging at the quads, lifting up the kneecaps. Good. And we're going to slowly rise. Inhale, coming out of your forward fold. Removing the strap at this time, placing it to the side. Bending the right knee in and placing the right knee onto the floor, left right heel near your groin. We're going to take the left leg straight out to the side, keeping the toes flexed towards the ceiling. Our hip is on the ground, so if you feel your hip rising, you can place a blanket underneath so we have contact here. And then through here, we're going to inhale, rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Good. Making sure that we find this lift and this guidance with our chest forward so that we're not hunching our backs tremendously. And maybe bringing the shoulders back into the girdle to help us keep our spine straight. Got toes, the left toes are still flexed up towards the ceiling. Engaging the quads, stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. And then inhale, rise, halfway lift the chest. Good, and then walk your hands back. Keeping this figure 7, or with your legs, you can go ahead and grab the strap and place it onto the left ankle bone. And then with your left hand, grabbing onto the strap near your foot as much as you can. We're going to take the right arm and inhale, rise, bring it up towards the ceiling. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can start to bend over towards the left side so you get more into the right side body. And if your arm is feeling especially tight today, you are more than welcome to take the right hand behind your head, guiding the right elbow back as we go into the side bend. Making sure that we breathe, staying here for 2 more breaths. Good. And then inhale, rise, coming out. Good. And then guiding the left leg back to the center, removing the strap, place it to the right side. You go ahead and bend the left knee in, straightening out the right leg. Place the left knee onto the ground and then open up your right hip, bringing the right foot out to the side, toes are pointed up, heel to the ground. Making sure your glutes onto the ground as well. And then when you're ready, you can bring your arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hip hinge, leading with that chest and the crown forward. And if you start to feel that your hips are rising off the mat, just go ahead and walk yourself back here so that we can create that contact so that we can get deeper into the hips. Or else we're just kind of stretching into dead space here. Making sure that we got that good quad engagement and finding that lift through the kneecaps so that we can release the hamstrings. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, halfway lift through the spine. And then start to walk your hands back. Grabbing onto the strap, placing it onto the right ankle bone. And allowing the right hand onto the strap to get as close as you comfortably can to your foot. And then once you're ready, you can take your left arm towards the ceiling and start to bend it over towards the right foot. And if you need to, you can place the left hand behind your head, taking your eye gaze up towards the ceiling so that we can get into a deeper stretch here. Good. 2 more breaths. On the next breath, we're going to inhale, rise, coming out of that side bend. And then exhale, release. Good. You can bring the right leg forward, remove the strap. And go ahead and bend at both knees and do a windshield wipe side to side. And then pressing your feet together into a butterfly pose. And as you are in butterfly, lifting up through the chest, pressing the feet together, you're going to inhale, rise, chest up towards the ceiling, and then our arms up to follow. And then we're going to exhale, hip hinge forward, bringing your arms forward in front of your feet, and coming into a forward butterfly pose. Okay. So making sure that we're continuously pressing the feet together so that we can find the opening through our hips. Good. Hands into the ground. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, lead with a cow spine. And then exhale, forward fold, getting a little deeper into the asana. Good. Inhale, halfway lift with that cow spine once more. And then exhale, release, walking your hands back into your feet. Good. Rebending at the knees and finding yourself into a tabletop position. So we're going to get involved in a lot of twisting. So we wanted to make sure that we had some openings into the side body and some hip openings to start. And let's work more with some spinal extension. So creating a nice wide tabletop position, knees underneath your hips, arms are going to be underneath your wrists underneath your shoulders. We're going to inhale, rise into that cow spine, bringing the chest up, tailbone up. And as we exhale, we're going to round through the shoulders and bringing the shoulders towards the ceiling, chin to chest. And go ahead and do a total of 5 sets of cat-cows at your own pace, at your own breath. And you're more than welcome as you breathe through your cat-cows to maybe get some hip movement in there, rocking it side to side. Or maybe bringing your hips and shoulders to meet at each end to get more to the side body. Good. And once you get yourself nice and grooving here, you can find yourself at a balance or at a tabletop position. We're going to bring our right leg back, flexing the right foot, and then planting the right hand. Inhale, rise the left arm towards the front of the room. Coming into that balanced tabletop. Engaging at the quad, flexing through the right foot back and bringing the left arm forward. Engagement of the core and lifting yourself up so that we're not crunching into our shoulders. Good. And then from here, we're going to crisscross our right leg and bringing it over our left. Good. And then taking the left hand to the ground. Inhale, rise, right arm forward. And exhale, crisscross the right arm over the left. Taking your eye gaze over the right foot. Hugging at the hips. And getting a good stretch into the right side body. Good. Inhale, bring the right arm forward, back to the mat. And inhale, lift up through the right leg. And bring it to the side of your body here, flexing through the right foot. And lifting it through the hips so that we can open up more through the hip socket. And then bending the right knee into a hydrant position. So keeping that right knee bent and lifted. And as we find this lift, go ahead and create some circles into the right knee. Good. And you can reverse this rotation as well. Making sure that we're nice and strong into our core to keep us into place. And then as we find this movement here, we're going to go ahead and keep the right knee bent and cross the right knee behind the left, coming into that Gomukhasana legs. And in the Gomukhasana legs, we're going to walk our hips back and stretch our arms forward. So almost like a child's pose. Good. Hugging at the knees, squeezing at the hips. And staying here for 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, coming onto your knees. And then bringing the right knee back up into fire hydrant here. Good. And then inhale, bring the right knee to right elbow, staying here for 3 breaths. Good. Then exhale, release. Inhale, bringing the right knee to nose and placing the right foot in between the palms. Walking your hands a little forward, your right foot a little forward, coming into Anjaneyasana prep with your left foot onto the ground. So we come into this Anjaneyasana prep. We're going to go ahead and engage the core, lift up through the chest, hands onto the right thigh. Rise up into your Anjaneyasana, arms up towards the ceiling. As we find ourselves in this Anjaneyasana, this low lunge, you can bring your arms into cactus arms to lift up through the chest and bring in your forearms just a little back so we find more of a chest opening here. If you need to fold the mat for your left knee or place a blanket, it's a good time to do that. We're going to inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Good. Palms together. Exhale to the heart center. Inhale, lift up through the chest and guide the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, coming into a low lunge twist here. Bringing your eye gaze over the left elbow, or the right elbow, I should say. Now make sure you're pressing the top of the left foot into the mat and the bottom of the right. And then exhale, release, bring your palms to the center. And one more time, inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And if you want to get more to a back bend, you can instead take your arms behind your sacrum, clamshell them together, rotate your shoulders back, and inhale, rise up through the chest, bringing your fist towards the back of the room. Two more breaths, whichever method you chose. And then on your next exhale, you can hip hinge forward, hands back to square your right foot. And inhale, send your right hip crease back, straighten through your right leg, half splits. Engaging the quads. Good, getting that good hamstring stretch into your right leg. Good. 2 more breaths. Breathe, bending the right knee. You go ahead, curl the left toes. Inhale, rise, left knee up. Planting your left hand down and inhale, bringing your right arm towards the ceiling into a high lunge twist. And if you wanted to take this twist even deeper, you could walk your right toes to point to the right of the corner of the right mat. Go onto the outer edge of your right foot as you go on the outer edge of your left foot and send your right arm back towards your left foot, pressing it to the side of your left foot into the mat to keep your hip up from the ground. Good. 2 more breaths, wherever you're at. And then inhale, rise, bringing the right arm back towards the ceiling, going back into that running lunge prep. Good. And then from here, inhale, hiking the left leg up to meet your right into Uttanasana, that forward fold, bending at the knees, bringing the tailbone up, and just allowing the upper body to soften up a little bit through the spine. Allow the crown and the neck to soften up too. Take a little break, maybe a little knee pedals here in your forward fold. Keeping your hips up, your chest leading towards the ground. Good. Hands to the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Think cow spine. Good. Then exhale, forward fold. Bend at the knees generously. And lifting up through the chest, and inhale, rise into your chair position. So making sure that we're bending at the knees, that we can see the tops of our feet here. Chest is lifted. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe a little back bend if you want. And palms together. Exhale, Samasthiti. Go ahead and shake it out into your hips, into your knees. Good. And then from here, we're going to inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hip hinge, hands to the mat here. Good. And as we're here to the mat, you're going to go ahead and take that blocker prep and place it in front of your left foot. Now about a foot here at any appropriate height. I would start with the highest one first, as long as it's not obnoxiously high. And as you have it in front of your left foot, you're going to go ahead and bring the right foot back about half a foot. Find that hip hinge into your left leg and bringing your arm up towards the ceiling, your right arm. And once you start to feel that buoyancy where your right leg wants to go towards the back of the room, that's your body giving you permission to go ahead and straighten out through the leg, coming into our Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon. Good. Engage the core, engage the quad, open up through the right chest, and staying here for 3 more breaths. Good. And then exhale, release, bringing the right foot back to meet the left. Removing the block at this time, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. You can go ahead, come into a plank position. As you are in plank, you can go through a vinyasa flow to reset your spine. So inhale, coming forward, chaturanga, all the way to the mat. And then coming into a cobra as we inhale. Exhale, release. Curl the toes. Inhale, rise, your chaturanga, downward facing dog. Exhale, pedal out through the feet. Stretch out each hamstring here. Good. 1 ankle at a time. And then we're going to round through the shoulders, coming back into that strong plank. Knees onto the ground in the tabletop position. And then as we're here, we're going to inhale, lift up through the left leg and straighten it back into that balancing tabletop. And then inhale, rise, right arm forward. Good. And as we start to strengthen up and open up through the left hip, we can go ahead and crisscross the left leg over the right, replanting the right hand. Inhale, rise, left arm towards the front of the mat, and crisscross it over the right hand so that your eye gaze is over the right shoulder, looking at your left foot. Good. Keep lifting up through the hips. 2 more breaths. Good. And then inhale, rise, left arm back towards the front of the mat, placing it onto the mat. And then inhale, rise, left leg goes all the way out to the left side, opening up through the hip, keeping the left foot flexed. Good. 2 more breaths. And then bending at the left knee, creating some knee circles here. And making sure that we reverse our rotation. And through here, inhale, come into that fire hydrant position, staying here for 3 breaths, nice and strong. Good. And exhale, release. Inhale, bending the left knee into your nose, knee in the center, and then guiding the left foot in between your palms, sending the right knee back into that Anjaneyasana prop. Good. So planting your right foot. If you need to prop up a blanket or fold up the mat, go ahead and do so. But from here, we're going to take our hands to the left thigh, lift up through the chest, no overarch into the lower spine. And then once you're ready, you can bring your arms up for your Anjaneyasana. Coming into cactus arms and inhale, opening up the chest, bringing the forearms back. If you want to create more of a back bend here or chest opening, you are more than welcome to clamshell your hands behind your sacrum and rotate your shoulders back and straighten up through the arms, pressing your left foot into the ground and lifting up through the chest. Staying here for 3 more breaths. And on the next breath, plant the left foot to the ground and inhale, rise. Right the arms back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hip hinge forward and straighten out through the left leg. Either keeping the toes pointed to the ground, or maybe flex the foot up towards the ceiling, or maybe some ankle rolls, just anything to really stretch out through the left hamstrings. Good. And then once that's all said and done, you can go ahead, rebend at the left knee. Inhale, rise, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling, palms together into your chest, heart center. On the next inhale, we're going to inhale, bringing the right elbow to the left thigh, coming into low lunge twist. Eye gaze over your left shoulder. Or left elbow. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, palm center. Exhale, hip hinge. Curl the right toes, lift up through the right knee. And then inhale, come into a twist again, bringing your left arm and left chest towards the ceiling. And you can either stay in this traditional runner's lunge twist, or you can take the left toes, point them towards the left corner of the mat, rotating onto the outer edge of your left foot as you rotate to the outer edge of your right foot, and sending your left arm back towards your right into a horizon lunge. Keeping your right hip off the ground. 2 more breaths. Good. And then inhale, rise, coming back up into the regular twist. And then placing the right hand to the ground. Good. And then from here, we're going to inhale, kick the right leg up to meet the left leg into your Uttanasana, forward fold. You're going to find that halfway lift here to the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. And from here, grabbing the block and placing the block in front of the right foot, about a foot in front at the highest level. And we're going to take the left leg back about a foot here. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana, we're going to bring our left arm towards the ceiling, planting the right foot down, engaging the quads and engaging the core. Once you feel that buoyancy where your left leg wants to rise, you can flex with the left foot and bring it towards the back of the room so that you are in your Ardha Chandrasana. At any level that is appropriate for you here. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Good. And then we're going to exhale, release, bringing the left leg down, bringing the left hand to follow into that Uttanasana, forward fold. We're going to find that inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Start to bend at the knees, bend at the hips. And then inhale, rise, bringing the arms up into chair pose. Staying here for 3 breaths. Go ahead and inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling, low back bend. And then palms together, exhale, Samasthiti. I'm going ahead and shake out the knees here. And things are going to pick up just a little bit. Got about 20 more minutes of class. And from here, you can go ahead and take your palms out to the T and rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, come into your chair pose once more. And exhale, hip hinge, hands to the mat, walking into your plank position, downward facing dog. If you want to go through a vinyasa flow, you are more than welcome to invite that into your practice. Otherwise, pedal out through the feet, through the ankles. Good. And then from here, we're going to plant the left foot to the ground and bend the right knee in towards your chest. And then on the next breath, we're going to inhale, rise, right leg, 3-legged dog towards the ceiling. Bending the right knee and opening up the hip crease, taking the eye gaze underneath the left shoulder, finding your right foot. Good. Re-square the hips. Inhale, right knee to nose. Exhale, three-legged dog. And then inhale, bend the right knee to your left elbow. And then place your left foot at a warrior diagonal and send your right leg through underneath your left armpit on the outer edge of your foot. And then planting your right hand, inhale, rise, left arm towards the ceiling. Keeping the hips up to the ground. Good. And exhale, release, left hand to the mat, bend the right knee, send the right leg back into three-legged dog. And then inhale, bend the right knee and bring the right foot all the way forward. Placing the left foot again at that warrior diagonal, 45 degrees. And inhale, rise, coming up into your warrior two. Good. And as you are here nice and strong into your warrior two, good, we're gonna keep the front knee bent, arms are straight. And we did a lot of side body action here, so we're actually going to go straight into our Trikonasana preps here. So as we're here in our warrior two, we're going to go ahead and straighten through the right leg and kind of send the left hip crease back though, so it's a little sassy here. And then taking the arms forward, gaze forward. Good. So right arm is forward, left arm is back, legs are straight here. And if you have a block, I would recommend, since we're playing around with revolvement, is if we take it to the inside of the right foot arch. If you are very flexible in the spine, it's more challenging if you place it onto the outer edge of the right foot. So it's your choice. Inside easier, outside harder. But from here, wherever you place your block, come back into your Trikonasana prep. And we're going to inhale, reach our right arm towards the front of the room, hip hinging here, and taking the right hand to the block or prop at any appropriate height for yourself, and guiding your left arm towards the ceiling. So from here, we're in the shape of a triangle. We're keeping our quads strong, lifting up through the kneecaps. Our feet are flat. They shouldn't be lifted at all. So if they are, we may need to decrease our width here. So opening up the chest to the side. You should feel a little bit of glute action here. It's okay if you don't, but getting a little bit to the glutes here to keep you supported. Good. As we take these couple breaths to be familiar with this asana, we can now practice one of the revolvements, and that will be the revolved triangle, or Parivrtta Trikonasana. So for our next breath, all we're going to do is we're going to inhale, guide the left hand to where the right block is, and you're going to find a little hip change here. So you're going to bring the right hip crease just back a little bit and the left a little forward. Just a little, so that we're squaring through the hips. So if you need to adjust your feet, you can go ahead and do so. You can take the left hand to the block. Chest is forward here, kind of hugging at the hips, nice and strong. We're going to inhale, rise, bringing the right arm towards the ceiling in that revolved Trikonasana. So this is going to feel a lot into the hamstrings. And in this pose, it is okay if the back heel comes up just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Bringing the right arm towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths of exploration. Leading with the chest. Good. And then exhale, release, bringing the right arm back to the block. Straighten out through the legs into a breath or 2 of pyramid pose. Good. And since we're already warmed up on that side, we could take the block onto the inner edge, into the inner arch of the right foot, and bring it about 6 inches forward. Because we're going to go into the Ardha Chandrasana, but revolved. And it's easier if the block is onto the left side since we're working with the right leg. And so from here, we're going to find that hip hinge into the right leg, where we can find that buoyancy, where our left leg wants to rise. And this is almost like we're going to be in a warrior 3 legs. So the hips are going to be square and even. And we're going to take the right arm, again, back towards the ceiling. So if we have trouble with balance, you can take yourself close to a wall here if you are near a wall, and plant your left foot to the wall so that you can at least keep yourself balanced so that you can get more into the twist and have less pressure onto your hips. So however you are finding your own exploration here. And once you're done exploring this asana, you can take the left leg down, bringing the right arm back down, coming back into that pyramid pose. Both toes pointed towards the front of the mat, finding that hip hinge here, finding a straight spine as you hip hinge as much as you can. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and walk the block towards the left side, coming into a wide-legged forward fold, kind of bending at the knees to reset side to side. If you wanted to dangle your spine, clasping at your elbows, you go ahead and do so. And then once you feel reset in your spine and your hips and everything else, you can then go ahead and grab the block and continue to walk over to the opposite side of the mat now. Good. And then this time we are going to find our left leg at the front of the mat and our right leg back. So just prepping the block and placing it either to the outside or the inside of the left foot, whichever you choose. We're going to drop the right foot at that 45 warrior diagonal, left leg is bent. And we're going to come into our warrior two. Kind of bringing things a little backwards now. So as we're prepped into our warrior two, just taking a couple breaths to really become familiar with this asana. We're going to go ahead and straighten out through the left leg. This time the right hip's going to be nice and sassy, kind of peek out towards the end of the mat. The left arm is towards the front of the mat, right arm is behind. Good, and we're going to find that quad engagement and the knee caps lifting up here, going into Trikonasana. So on the next breath, we're going to inhale, stretch the left arm all the way towards the front of the mat, and finding yourself, your left hand onto the block and bringing your right arm towards the ceiling in Trikonasana. Again, if the block is on the outer edge of the foot, it's going to be a little harder. If it's on the inside, it'll be a little easier for us. And we want to bring that chest up and the arm up too. Gotta take 2 more breaths of exploration. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the Parivrtta Trikonasana, so the revolvement. With revolve, we're going to go ahead and take the right arm to meet the block. And we're going to kind of fiddle with our feet here. If you need to adjust your warrior diagonal, go ahead and do so. We're bringing the right hip crease forward, left hip crease back a little. And we're going to take the right hand to the block, and we're going to inhale, bringing the left arm towards the ceiling. Good. 3 more breaths of exploration. And then we're going to exhale, release. Take a neck block, or take 2 breaths in this pyramid pose to catch your breath. Because these are challenging asanas, especially if we've been chilling and sitting on the couch. And that's why we're doing these twists. You can take the block and place it about a foot in front of your left foot and bring it a little more towards the right side. So it'll be helpful that it's on the right corner so that when we take the right hand for the revolve, we can assist ourselves a little better. So from here, we're going to re-square the hips. Right hand's going to go onto the block. And as soon as we hip hinge through the left foot, engaging the left quad and lifting up the kneecap, we're going to flex through the right foot and find that buoyancy and lifting our right leg like we would in Warrior 3 as we square through the hips and bring in our left arm towards the ceiling into revolved Ardha Chandrasana. And this one's challenging, so if you need to press your right foot up against the wall to balance so you can get more into your spine, go ahead and do so. That's totally legal. It's okay. Good. But once you are finished with your exploration, you can then release the right foot back to the mat. Good. And then just coming into that forward fold, maybe spreading the knees out a little bit and kind of rock side to side for just a couple breaths. Good. And to balance everything out here, we're going to bring the hands to the mat, walk ourselves into plank, going backwards, like I said before, coming into the down dog, rooting through your right ankle and straightening out through the left leg, three-legged dog. Good. We're going to bend the left knee and open up your hip crease, taking your eye gaze underneath the right armpit, spreading the knees as far apart as you can. Good. Squaring through the hips, inhale, knee to nose. Exhale to your three-legged dog. And then inhale, bend the knee in towards your right elbow. And then straighten the left leg, bringing the right leg at the warrior diagonal, left foot at the outer edge, and then bringing the right arm towards the ceiling. Good. 3 breaths here. Nice and strong. Taking the right hand back to the mat and bending the left knee, coming into your downward facing dog. Round through the shoulders into plank, bending up the knees, child's pose for about 3 breaths here. And then slowly rounding through the shoulders, coming into that tabletop. Good. And I don't think we did this one before. So last time we had our right knee over our left. We need to find that symmetry. As we find our tabletop position, let's go ahead and take the left knee behind the right into those Gomukhasana legs. Remember those? Yeah. I don't think we did it onto the left side. So while we're here, let's go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and take the tailbone back and bring the arms forward. So like we're coming back into the child's pose, except your legs are crisscrossed here. Good. And take 3 breaths. Good. And then you can go ahead, come into your tabletop, unwind your legs, and then come on your sitting area. That's the best part about yoga. If you ever forget a step, you can go back and still get that symmetry with it. And we're coming near the end of class, so we're going to cool down a little bit before Shavasana. So go ahead and rock your knees out side to side just to give your hips a little massage here. Good. We're going to find ourselves onto the mat. Good. A little bit of some core play. We're going to keep our feet to the mat, but bringing our arms up towards the ceiling, and then forward into supported boat pose. So we're going to grab onto the mat with our toes like a basketball. So basketball grip. Chest is forward, arms are forward. Taking a deep inhale. In through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth. Vertebra by vertebra, slowly finding your way onto your spine. Good, challenging at your front core, your back core, hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. And from here, we're going to hug our right knee into our chest and flex our left foot up towards the ceiling. Hips touch the ground. Good. And then on an inhale, we're going to slowly guide our left heel to the ground, tucking our left hip underneath our right, bringing our right arm to the T. And inhale, guide that right knee over towards the left side. We want to make sure that our shoulder is onto the ground. So if you need some support underneath your knee, it's a great time to grab a block or maybe a pillow if you have one nearby. Keeping the left foot nice and flexed and straight. Taking a few more moments of breath. And then from here, we're going to inhale, find yourselves back onto our spine, and then bending the left knee in, crossing the right leg over the left, grabbing onto the outer edges of our feet, bringing our knees in towards our chest, tailbone towards the ground. So it's the Gomukhasana legs again, but instead we're on our spine, and that allows us to get more to the hips with less stress onto the spine here. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. And then after those 2 breaths, you can go ahead and unwind the legs, hug the left knee in towards your chest, flex the right foot up towards the ceiling, and exhale, slowly release the right heel to the ground. Tucking your right hip underneath your left hip, bringing your left arm to the T, and guiding your left knee over towards the right side. Eye gaze over the left shoulder. And just taking a couple of breaths here. The reason why we're doing some of the twists today is because twists help restore your spine, bringing the range of motion back from our stretched muscles, our stretched ligaments, really any of the soft tissue. Because if we don't have our daily stretches here, then we minimize the range of motion around our joints. Good. And then slowly release, bringing the left knee back into your chest, right knee into your chest, and place the left leg over your right, back into the Gomukhasana legs, hugging into the outer edges of the feet, bringing the knees in towards the chest. So any of those soft tissues that we have near our joints, making sure, like we said before, on maintaining our physical exercise and our physical strength, it helps us build that range of motion back. And that can happen if we sit for a while, if we lounge on the couch, and it's really easy to be lazy in times where we have to stay inside. Hey, baby. So twists are a really great way to get that energy spiking up through your nervous system, as well as stretching out those connective tissues or those soft tissues in between your vertebrae, around your joints, all that good stuff. So you can go ahead and hug your knees into your chest, release the legs, rock side to side. Now that we are reaching towards the end of class, take the deepest inhale of today's class. So bring your arms above your head and point your toes to the front of the mat. Taking 1 long body stretch, deep inhale through the nose, and exhale, release through the mouth. And you can place your arms wherever comfortable, and legs wherever comfortable. I'm just spending the next few moments here onto your mat. And then as you find yourself here in your Shavasana, you can start to bring your breath back into your practice, nice and lively. Finding some micro movements from your toes and your ankles, your fingers and your wrists. Anything to bring that energy back into your practice here. And when you're ready, you can take your knees into your chest and take a deep inhale, bringing your arms above your head. And then exhale through the mouth. As I share this quote with you today by Koi Fresco, that balance is the key to everything in what we do, in what we think, in what we say, eat, and feel. They all require that awareness, and through this awareness, we can all grow. So we can begin to grow by guiding our knees either to the left or to the right side, and very gently lifting up through the spine, coming into a seated position, nice and tall, tailbone tuck. Bringing our palms into the heart center, the Anjali Mudra, taking a bow for yourself. Thanking yourself for coming into today's class, as well as thanking the neighbors around for being able to share the space with us today. And giving the gratitude to the resources that we have so that we can continue to have our practices. We can continue to have these roofs over our shoulders, and we can continue to just find anything and everything that we can to take care of ourselves and everybody around us here tonight. As we find peace for the rest of your night. Namaste. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming into tonight's class. It's so nice to be able to hang out with y'all, and I miss y'all. I wish we can go climbing right now and be Adventure Rock. And shout out to whoever drew that message for Adventure Rock and Chuck, and from the Milwaukee location. We love you too. That was so nice to see, and we definitely miss you. Oh, you're welcome, Andrew. Fun fact, twists and back bends are the least favorite types of poses for the Midwest area, because we all live in this bipolar climate, but also very cold and kind of sheltered in that over time with that climate, we find the rounded shoulders and the rounded spine. And so when we do poses that open us up, we need it. And our body is telling us that we need it, but our patience doesn't like it. It's not a fan of it, but that's why we do it. So I'm really glad that you got to learn some cool asanas today, Andrew. Yeah, we are going to continue to have these yoga classes throughout the week, from me, from Haley, Margot, and Virginia, and then some special classes with Jacob and all the other fitness instructors to keep you nice and strong, but most importantly, keeping you motivated and energized throughout this time. So feel free to keep tuning on in. You can look at our public schedule here on the YouTube channel. We go on the adventurerock.com website. We also have our public platforms like Facebook and Instagram, so that we can make sure that no matter the location, that you are able to utilize these resources to keep you coming back, but keep you energized and motivated and all that good stuff. And you're welcome, Maria. Please feel free, and I will type it so that everybody knows how to spell it. If I remember how to type. Okay, so Climbing Santosha is my Instagram. You can feel free to follow me, but importantly, if you have any questions about what we did in class that my chatty mouth didn't get a chance to explain, or if there was an asana that blew your mind and you want to know more about it, or if you aren't as familiar with yoga and you're like, oh, I do this one pose in classes and I really liked it, but I forget how to do it or what it's called, or I know it feels good when I do X, Y, and Z, please feel free to message me on my Instagram, Climbing Santosha, and I would love to go into depth with you about the properties of certain asanas or certain sequencings. I would love to try to pick your brain on seeing what it is that you're talking about those asanas that you crave for and that you want to gain more information on, as well as collaborating to create these classes. So any recommendations or any requests, I provide these classes for you. So I want to be able to, create what you want, create what you like, create what you're interested in learning more about, or, just let me know. Other than that, does anybody have any questions at this time before I go and play some Zelda? And if you have Animal Crossing, feel free again on the Instagram to send me your friend code if you got the new Animal Crossing for the Switch. They're playing that game every day. Or if you also play Zelda Breath of the Wild, both Nintendo Switch games, please let me know what level you're on. The news today has been saying that online gaming has been the best way to spend this time together inside of our homes. So, yeah, I would love to play some video games with y'all. I got the new Luigi's Mansion 2, got Smash Bros. Let's go ahead, and play some games. But yeah, if you have the Switch, follow my Instagram, message me, and we will definitely exchange friend codes. I need it. All right. Have a good night, you guys. I will see you on Thursday, 7 a.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. 7 a.m. is a morning energizing flow. And then 6 o'clock is going to be yin. So it's going to be slower. We're going to hold poses for a good few moments at a time. So they're more floor dominated. So expect that. And then the class after, it's going to be in a similar style as yin, but there's going to be more yang movement. So yeah, all revolved probably more on twists, since I like to theme my week since I teach 6 classes. So in the meantime, there's my Instagram. Come say hi, give me your friend code, give me any requests, or pick my brain a bit. But I'll see you later. Bye.